I had had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging E.T. in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, he commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die?" Yo, reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
The Church of Mavis Radio Show, Friday nights at 8 p.m., 7 Central, starring Jeffrey Pritchett with his co-hosts Wham and Jay McNicholas, right here on the United Paranormal Radio Network, UPRN 107.7 FM, New Orleans.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. And I'm going to thank UPRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Hello there, Kurt. I'm doing better today. Heidi, good evening to you and much love from Pittsburgh. You know, I just want you to know that one more announcement here. It's kind of crazy, not crazy, but I had a crazy evening here before I got on this show. And what I want to do is I want to thank my dear friend Jay, because I didn't know if I was going to make it back. We had to go to a viewing tonight at a funeral home. I had to take my mom. I really didn't know the dude, so I had to take my mom. But Jay had it set up, and I truly appreciate it. But I made it home just in time. Okay, made it home just in time to start the show. Hi, Joni, good to see you, and Donna, good to see you. Don't forget, right after my podcast tonight at exactly 9:10. Eastern. Don Yazzie with Daryl, I think it is. Their podcast comes on. It's called Don't Whistle at Night. And it's a very good podcast. Don's like a brother from another mother. I mean, we're tight, and, after my show tonight, why don't you go over and give him some love and, check out his show. But tonight, before I get into this topic, it was crazy because 2 or 3 days ago, I was thinking, okay, Thanksgiving's always happy. Everyone, going out and buying their turkey, shit like that, inviting family over, friends, the whole 9 yards. But how not demented my mind is, but, I'm just like, there has to be a dark history. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Heidi says, I meant to message you since yesterday, and I knew but didn't know you had stuff going on. That's okay, hon. We can talk after the show for a little bit. But good to see you, Kevin. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so Thanksgiving, food, all that good crap, family, friends over, eating like a pig, and then falling asleep at 4 in the afternoon. But I said to myself, you know what, Sean? There has to be a dark side of Thanksgiving. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, there is. There is a dark side of Thanksgiving. Now, what I'm about to share with you, if you have children watching this show, or I would kindly say for them not to watch it, because what we were taught growing up about Thanksgiving was a total lie, and I tried to justify that, trying to find that, Thanksgiving was a good time, good holiday and stuff like that. But hey, Vet Girl, good to see you, honey. Good to see you. No coffee tonight for me, Vet. I got my iced tea here. But, what we were taught, during school, in grade school, that Thanksgiving they had a feast between the settlers or the Pilgrims and the Native Americans. Okay. And how everybody got along, they shared the feast and all kinds of good stuff. How they tried to make the holiday a happy holiday. But you know what? It wasn't a very happy holiday. In fact, it was sad. Okay, that girl says, my hands are busy anyway, crocheting Shaun the sheep. Aha! You gotta spell that S-H-A-W-N, not S-H-A-U-N, please. I wish they would just take that. They would take that out. Yeah, it was a bunch of lies, Heidi, what they taught us. And so I would like it if children didn't listen to this, because I don't want them to go to school, okay, and tell them that, well, I don't think that's correct. I think there's a darker side to Thanksgiving. I don't want to get the kids in trouble, but I don't know. It just seems like ever since I've become a host on doing podcasts, I always have to look for the opposite. Hey, Doomsday Jay, how are you, buddy? Let me bring Jay on board.
Hey,
all right, buddy.
When I came in to get your show going for you, I couldn't find your pre-made show in the queue, and I refreshed the page a couple of times and I couldn't find it, so I made a new one. And I was over there with Sally. I hope she made it over, so I'm gonna have to go back and turn that one off.
Okay, thank you, Jay. This is my best friend Jay Ross, Doomsday Jay Ross. But
I'll be right back and give you a send off, though. Give me a second.
All right, brother. Joe Fox said there is a dark side to Thanksgiving, especially if you're still married and have to go to your in-laws' house. Oh, that's funny. Hey, but Jay will be back. But yes, it's crazy what I have found and what I have researched. And of course, I got my wiki and the Google and the AI, whatever, you know. But Joe's got a point there about going to the in-laws for Thanksgiving. Oh, and Kevin says Shaun Sheep is a cartoon. Oh, okay. Still don't like that name, Shaun. It just doesn't cut it in my vocabulary. But so I'm going to talk about and read about the dark history of Thanksgiving. Okay, and it's sad. It really, really is sad. The dark history of Thanksgiving includes the subsequent conflict, enslavement, and violence against Native Americans by European settlers who had previously been aided by the Wampanoag people. Rather than a harmonious feast, the 1621 event was followed by brutality and land seizure. And many later Thanksgivings marked military victories over Native Americans, like the Pequot massacre and the beheading of Metacom. The Native scholars emphasize that the popular narrative ignores centuries of atrocities and the forced assimilation, including the suppression of the Native language and religions. Is that wow? Is that crazy, dudes? Is that really crazy? What they taught us, how everything was loving and caring and they shared food at the table, but they didn't tell you about them, after that Thanksgiving in 1621 that they were killing Indians, the Native Americans, indigenous people. It is like, it blew me away. And no matter what I researched on the internet, it always came up to this conflict, Now, of course, Joe Fox, once again, we were lied to. I mean, I always thought, growing up, that Thanksgiving, what you did is, remember making those little turkeys out of your fingers? You would draw them and cut them out, and talking about the corn stuff that they put out there on the table and all this stuff. No, it wasn't. Hey, much love to you, Cindy Mitch. Good to see you. All right, let me bring Jay on here.
Hey man,
Jay.
Yeah, I fixed the other one, so you don't have two shows going at once now.
Okay. Wow. Jay, did you hear what I just read?
Yes.
About the dark history of Thanksgiving.
Oh yeah.
What's your what do you think? What do you think?
Well, that's the only thing I could come up with really quickly when I was, waiting for your show start. I just looked it up, and that's about what came up was the 400 years of atrocities from that first Thanksgiving forward. And I wasn't able to get into it deep and dive enough deep into it quickly to find out if that started right then, like the very next day, or that's Thanksgiving, or was it the next year or the next month or what? But we did some pretty horrible things to secure the land under our feet, and yeah, it's a pretty dark story. I mean, and it goes for 400 years.
Right, but Jay, you got to remember when they taught us in grade school and in school how Thanksgiving was supposed to be happy, that everybody got along. There was a big ass meal between the Native Americans and the Pilgrims.
Mm-hmm.
But it was, Heidi says hello, Jay. But
Hey,
there wasn't a big party. Maybe they ate, okay. Maybe they ate together, but the following day they just massacred all these freaking people, man, all these indigenous people.
That's extremely a rude thing to do if they did that, and that starts a tradition right away. And it still goes to to today's modern version of it, it's still, if you don't know this, pardon the doomsday part, it's the deadliest holiday of the year.
Oh yeah, guys. I think that the night before Thanksgiving is when most of the DUIs and people get killed in car wrecks.
Or the very next day, yeah. It's
Okay.
or that later that evening, if they don't stay at the relative's house, if they were within a 2 or 3 hour drive, people driving, you drive 2 or 3 hours in the morning to a relative's house, you stay there for 5 or 6 hours eating and drinking and partying, and then you drive back home in the cold winter night another 2 or 3 hours. Yeah, it's with most car accidents. Most deadliest travel year most deadliest travel day of the year. Boy, try to say that 10 times fast.
No, I don't think I could even do it once, buddy. But I remember Sally says, don't forget the capitalist consumerism of Black Friday. Hey, Sherry, hello. Good to see you, hon. She says, hello, Sean and Jay. Hope you're both good. Sorry I'm a little late. I'm packing up to move house in the next couple of days.
I'm trying to grab Sally's picture. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. I am I used to be a frontliner for Black Friday. And I never saw it really, really bad. I worked at a hardware store. Do people line up 2 hours before the store opens to get into the store for holiday deals? Yes. Are they violent? Not really. The reason why they're not violent is because this was the Home Depot. The managers had a fund that they would buy donuts, and if you were in line between 4 and 6 a.m., you got a donut and a cup of coffee. So we fattened them up with sugar. They were too high on sugar to think about fighting.
Black Friday ain't like it used to be.
Videos, there's a classic video of a very large woman and a very small woman fighting over a very small dress. Obviously, not for the large woman, but maybe for one of her children. And this smaller woman, they're tug of warring with this dress, and it eventually fails and rips in half, and they both hit the pavement. And then are quickly scooped up by store security, and both have to pay for the dress. So I have never understood the holidays, Sean. Maybe you can help me with this one. Thanksgiving to Christmas, and you can maybe extend that to New Year's, but that's the holiday right there. Between those two holidays, that's when everybody in your life who's been an absolute creep to you all year long, all of that doesn't matter anymore. Thanksgiving, Christmas, and then the very next day they go back to treating you like a creep for the whole next rest of the year until I've never understood how that's not what the holiday is supposed to be about. You don't like act like a creep all year long and then change for 2 days.
It's not so much. Joni says suicides with people who are doing during the holidays. True. Heidi says, well, thank God, not many in-store brawls. And Joni you said that I used to work for Best Buy, and man, people go wild. Yeah. But you know what? It's not like that no more. I mean, a lot of companies, a lot of stores now do not open on that early in the morning at midnight on Black Friday. They don't do that no more. And
you would be surprised actually how many contractors actually show. I mean, guys they're doing work. This is the Friday after Thanksgiving. They are doing physical labor. They come to our store to fight. They have to fight the crowd too. And like I said, it's not that bad like going to a Walmart or Best Buy, but they come in to buy the material they need to build or fix whatever they're building. And
yeah. You know, Sally, I feel for you, hon. I really do. But that's how I get. I do not like going to my cousins or my aunts I don't have too many aunts and uncles left, and I don't know. It seems like whenever I go to a family during Thanksgiving, especially Thanksgiving, I really don't want to be there. The reason being, okay, The reason being is because I just feel like I'm not wanted. You know what I mean? That's how I felt about Thanksgiving with that. And yeah, Heidi, online deals are the best, man. Saves you from going out. All you do is after you eat, sleep for an hour, wake up, and start shopping online. But back
And
to the
I'll bet
history.
most of our audience has an Amazon account. Your phone is probably lighting up like a Christmas tree every hour or so with new deal just for you. Bloop. I'm getting them all day long, Black Friday deals, and it didn't even Black Friday yet.
Yep. Cindy Mitch says that maybe this is why they are acting like the story of the Pilgrim and Indians about an untrue unity story. That's very true. But back to the history of that, uh, of course, AI likes to put things in paragraphs. They said the shift from alliance to conflict. After the initial harvest gathering, European settlers repaid the Wampog, I don't know how to pronounce it, assistance with violence, including land seizures, enslavement, and execution. Violence and massacres, many later Thanksgiving celebrations were held to give thanks. Listen to this, everybody. Listen to this. This is fucking absurd. Excuse my language. But violence and massacres. Many later Thanksgiving celebrations were held to give thanks for brutal victories over Native Americans, such as the 1636 Pequot Massacre and the 1676 beheading of that Wampanoag leader, Medical. Is that crazy, Jay?
That's insane.
That's unbelievable.
And also, we have to think. I mean, this is how long ago? 2000.
1636.
Yeah, so it's 400 years ago. Over 400 years ago. The mentality of the time, those Europeans, and this doesn't justify anything by any means, but they viewed the natives as no more different than a raccoon or a pigeon.
Right.
So and that is extremely unfortunate. Had it gone the other way, we probably would still be the strongest country in the world, but it would be a lot different. I mean, I think we'd have a much more more diverse and better population.
It's the sad what they did back then. And they weren't Americans; they were European people that came over from Europe and settled in America. If it wasn't for the Native Americans, they wouldn't know how to hunt. For the most part,
we're talking English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, and Italian, and a few Germans and Austrians scattered here and there and about. But for the most part, those are the main European countries that were taking over the eastern seaboard.
That girl says even less than that, Jay. Pigeons were worth more. Shaking my head. And
probably so. Yeah, they were part of the communication system. So,
but for the land grab,
they probably thought of, and to her point, that they probably thought of the Native Americans as less than their own pet dogs and cats.
Right. It's just unbelievable to hear that. But I know that okay, but the Native American, the indigenous people, don't call it Thanksgiving. Okay, they call it. Now I might be wrong, but it's pretty close to it. It's the day of sorrow. It was the day of sorrow. Yeah, because of what happened to the indigenous people. But all during school being raised, Thanksgiving was a freaking happy thing. And my question to you, Jay, my question to everybody out there in the chat room, then we'll go on a break pretty soon here. My question is, why did they not teach the real Thanksgiving when we were in school?
Well, I mean, would you be proud of that?
No, but I'd like to know the history.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's obviously it's out there. We were able to find it later on in life. It could be traumatizing due to the fact that you're young kids in school and they don't need to know that kind of stuff. But it's always been that tradition. Like usually the victor, they write what history is. So,
Right.
for example, let's say Hitler was the good guy, and he came along and stopped the Allied powers from taking over the world and enslaving everybody. If he wins, he rewrites the story that he's the superhero and all this other the bad guys, the Allies, did all these horrible atrocities. Well, and that's always the way it's been. I mean, just think about it. Go back in history. The victor always tells the story.
Oh, of course. But okay, Sally says, what if white people step back and let indigenous people make this place better? What if? True. Well, white people,
Well, first of all, we'd have
European settlers.
There would be a huge area blocked off just for buffalo. That's all. We probably would have free food for the bulk of our lives, and you could have cheeseburgers all day long because of the amount of buffalo. If the stories are true that there are that many buffalo that the white men destroyed that many, it would be a completely renewable food source that it would make food, I would say, free. You want to talk Kami Mamdani?
Yeah,
his
basically.
Free grocery store idea?
But look what the indigenous people are doing now, Jay.
For the whole planet.
They have they got all those damn casinos, and they're getting that money, and they're going to buy their land back. You watch. I'm calling it right now. They're going to make so much money off them casinos that they're going to buy their land back, and they will get their land back. Good evening, Kelly Porter. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Oh, they'll get some of it. Sally says, I never even lied to my kids about Santa, and I called their school indoctrination station. Yeah, and you're right, Sherry. Just like Jay said, the victor writes history, his story. And I know Heidi said something here. What did she say? They didn't want to be viewed as the bad guy. And that is true.
That's exactly right.
But we are at the 30-minute mark, everybody. So you know what that means. We are going. Hey, Michelle, good to see you. Welcome. So we're going to go on break for a couple minutes, and we'll continue our conversation. On that note, if you got to pee, got to have a smoke, go smoke a joint, do what you got to do. I'll see you in a couple minutes. All right, where can we go with this one? Here, we'll go with this one here. Let me find it. There we go.
You are listening to Sean.
The night has come, it's cold and losing my control. Your light is gone, and lonely darkness fill my soul. I wish that you could save me from my isolation. It's way too complicated. Let's stop this conversation. Stop this conversation. We got no relation.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second half of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly, and my guest co-host, my very good friend, Doomsday J. Ross. And if you'd like to see us on Friday nights, we are on News on the Flip Side, where we fight each other and talk about politics. And tonight's, everyone knows my show does not talk on politics or nothing. You also can see us Saturday nights on the chat. But again, I want to thank you, PRN Talk Radio 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Don't forget Mr. Don Yazzie. His show, Don't Whistle at Night, is coming on right after mine. Tonight, I do believe it's 9:10 Eastern. And I do not know who his guest is. Maybe Heidi might know who his guest is. But so right after mine, give him some love.
Also, Sean, don't forget, Sean, we are also on the Sean Network because we got yours truly, Sean Kelly, over there. We got Sean Hazlitt.
That's right.
We got Sean Whittington. This is the network of the Seans.
Yeah. That's the network of the Seans. Yes. But you cannot spell SHAUN. You got to kick that out.
Yeah, I was going to say only two of them can agree on how to spell it correctly.
Veckrel says, I taught my son to question everything. Don't believe everything you were told. I created a monster of my own doing. No worries, though. I'm happy he questions everything. And I am too, honest to God. But seriously, I am so. I really like that. I'm glad. That's good. Glad to hear that. But before we continue, here's the deal. If you have any young children who are watching this program tonight, if you want them to watch it, fine. If you don't, that's okay too. But it is on the brutal history of Thanksgiving, and it wasn't a good one. Oh, Veckrel, check it out. Okay, Veckrel's my son's name is Sean as well. You go, girl. All right, I knew there was something good beside your coffee. Yeah. Oh boy, I tell you what, I don't know, but it was very, very depressing back in, what was that, 1631, where the Europeans came over and they wiped out the Native Americans, And why I brought this up.
Yeah, it began then. Yeah, it took a 400-year cycle.
Yeah.
Brutal cycle.
Yeah, it did. And I don't want, well, unless that girl's son wants to do it, but that's cool. But, I don't want a little kid, going up to a teacher and say, no, the Indians were massacred by the Europeans.
Viewer discretion is advised.
Extremely. Now, a little bit back to the brutal history of this, of Thanksgiving, the disputed origin story. Okay. The popular image of the first Thanksgiving is a myth that has been distorted over time. The first feast did not include turkey or pumpkin pie, and the narrative often ignores the Wampanoag perspective of the events. Now, here's the second and last part of it. Genocide and population decline. Epidemics brought by the Europeans caused an estimate of 95% reduction in the native population in the years following their arrival. A historical fact often left out of the Thanksgiving story. Is that crazy? What? It's just.
It is because if you think about it, the only reason why they would lie about it is for two reasons. Like Heidi said, and like I agree with her, so they don't come out looking like the bad guys. That's the European, the settlers. And number two, look at the marketing on it. I mean, we were talking about the Black Friday aspect of the day after.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you market the day that you started slaughtering Indians? People don't want to stuff. Oh, really?
it just. Oh, and how it became a holiday. Abraham Lincoln, I do believe, in 1863, made it a holiday.
You mean
But
formalized it as a federal holiday? You mean?
yeah, basically. But I read somewhere, and I'm trying to find it. But Thanksgiving, just the pumpkin pie sales alone, Joe Fox, I love you. Yeah,
Pumpkins are pretty cheap to grow too. I mean, they're really prolific.
but there was this one dude in Massachusetts. They celebrated Thanksgiving for the 700 guys that went out and decimated the indigenous people. Did you know that? They decimated, and when they came back, they had a Thanksgiving feast. Sally says, this makes me want to scream and cry. We need everyone to stop participating in the bullshit and actually acknowledge what this country came from. I agree. I totally agree with you on that. I do.
Yeah, if I wasn't afraid that the show would be turned off all the platforms, Sean, there's a really, really, really good George Carlin comedy bit, and it's not. I mean, it's funny, but it's factual. He talks about how America was, came to be, and he does it in his way, and it's basically like we came from Europe, we marched across land, and we killed the yellow. We killed the brown people so we could keep marching along until we got to the other side of the country where we could launch bombs and kill the yellow people. Well, I mean, you have to look at it in a historical way. The way George Carlin says it is 100%. I mean, it looks like the European settlers just came across and went and just mowed across the entire country violently.
Yeah, they did.
And made themselves look like they were shining silver gods on the other end.
My biggest thing is they did not teach us the real history behind Thanksgiving.
Well, they don't.
And to
teach
be
us
honest
the real
with you,
everybody,
be honest with you. Today or a couple days ago is when I found out about all this shit, and I'm 63.
I just found out today.
Yeah, it's and I'm sure nobody else in the chat room knew about this thing.
Yeah, it's definitely fact. Well, but I also have to say that it's not just this that we're taught wrongly about. One of my very good friends, who's no longer with us, Philip Coppins, wrote a book called "History Is Wrong," and I read it, and he's correct. History is wrong. What they teach you in school doesn't matter what the subject is. Rome, World War II. Pick a subject from
Civil War
today back. Pick any subject from today backwards a million years. They don't teach you it correctly in any of the United States public school systems. History is 100% wrong. They don't say anything in any of our history about the possibility that even in our Bible it says when there were others back in those days. There was another the Bible actually hints at another civilization back in those days before the Bible was written, but they don't say anything about any of that and any of us who are researchers know about things like Pumapunku and the pyramids. Pyramids were not built by the Egyptians. I'm sorry, they were covered. They were covered by limestone by the Egyptians, but what's underneath was not built by them. It's all over the place. History's wrong everywhere, Sean, and it's disgusting. And just how
it is disgusting.
So
Joe
wrong.
Fox says, honestly, I'm more sad about what we have done to the indigenous people than slavery itself. Yeah. Can you imagine if I did a show on Vietnam? I mean, it's like craziness. I don't know. Heidi says, I think when I first learned of the lies was the real beginning of my thoughts on FK, the system. I don't want to say that word. Vet Girl says, I deep dive studied intensely around this 2015. My son is indigenous, so I was seeking the truth. Awesome, Vet. Awesome, girl. I mean, I just feel bad. But then if it wasn't European settlers, then we as white people went, the federal government came in and took them off their lands and took their lands from them forced them to learn, American. They couldn't talk in their native tongue. And to me, it's just brutally selfish.
And
And
you want to know something unique about the native, some of the native tongues, and I think specifically the Navajo tongue. We utilized the Verschnizzet out of that language in the Pacific Theater as a code to send messages between the Army Air Forces, and U.S. Navy. And it worked.
That was back in World War I.
Japanese could not break it at
Yeah,
all.
they were
And it
called the
wasn't
Wind
code.
Talkers.
All they did was translate the English into Navajo, and then they sent it. And then the English to the
Right.
Navajo, and they sent it. And then on the other end was a Native American Navajo speaker who took the Navajo and he turned it into English.
That girl, the Wind Talkers. That's what they were.
Wind Talkers, also Code Talkers was another one they called them. I think they used some of it in Europe, but not as much. But the good thing about that whole language thing, we would not have won the war without two things happening: those codes for the Navajo confounding the Japanese military in the Pacific Theater. A, B, us breaking their purple code. Right after Pearl Harbor, we began working on their codes that they were using by Morse code, and they had what they called a purple code. We broke that, and they didn't know. And then we stole, or we were able to capture two different submarines with mostly intact encrypting devices for the Germans. So we were able to read all the top secret messages of both the Japanese and the Germans for almost the entire war. Without those two things, we're speaking German or Japanese.
True.
Period. The Enigma machine. Thank you, Joe.
Cindy says, Joe or Jay, do you speak on your show about the true history of the facts you were just speaking about the Egyptians? Yes. He's good
all the time. Me and Joe Montaldo get into it. He's
every
got
day,
his theory, and I've got mine. I've been studying the pyramids since before college, so and during college. So I think I know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, well, I don't want to go there. We're not in that situation. We're talking about
bring it up Friday or Saturday.
Friday night Friday nights or Saturday nights. Come and listen. Because when they start talking that Egyptian shit, then it's like, man, I just sit back and be quiet. Same thing with UFOs and shit. But Joe Fox said it's called the Enigma machine.
The Enigma machine. That's what the Germans had.
So also, like Jay was talking about, and I've read about it, and it happened to me. Sally says part of all of it is to keep humans disconnected from the earth and the universe. That's so sick. Of course it is. Joe Fox says, I love Fridays with you guys. Thank
you, Joe.
And Cindy said, thank you. I'll be stopping in on Friday. Great. You'll love it, man. Yeah. I'm telling you, it's the greatest show on earth. But but you also got to think this too, and Jay brought it up earlier, about the family. You know what I mean? I've seen many families just separate, okay, getting the big major arguments. If it's the big one's political, you start talking political at Thanksgiving dinner, you're done, because it separates. It really separates the family. It divides it. Also, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, football games also is a big thing when it comes down through Thanksgiving dinners. One person might like one.
When I was introing the wrong show for you on the other episode, that's what I started off with, was the traditions that we did at my house was if we went to our relatives or they came to our house, either way, the question went around on all the news stations today. What's the best time to eat Thanksgiving dinner? And most people, the consensus was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Which is like, who's getting up at 4 o'clock to cook a turkey? No way. But we would get up at 8 o'clock. We got up at 8 o'clock and started right then. Breakfast, and then we'd go outside and play, or we'd goof around the house and wait for our cousins to arrive around 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we'd eat some more, like cheese and crackers and, finger foods. And then like 4 or 5 o'clock, we'd have turkey. That was
we ate the turkey about 2 in the afternoon.
My team, and then the Dallas Cowboys, which was not our team. But the tradition was Redskins and Dallas Cowboys played every Thursday, Thanksgiving night dinner.
Yeah, and there was a big fight. But Dawn's in Don't Whistle at Night podcast. Pumpkin spice, too. He knows my pumpkin spice. I hate that stuff, man. That stuff is so gross. That's a no word.
Yeah,
that's a no word on my show.
They put it in too many things. I agree with that. I'm sticking to pumpkin spice everything. I like pumpkin pie and I like pumpkin beer. That's as far as I go. But they do the same thing. I'm from Maryland. They do the same thing with Old Bay seasoning. Old Bay seasoning is you boil crabs in it. That's it. You don't put it in salad. You don't drop it on French fries, and it doesn't go into mashed potatoes. Period. It goes on crab and crab only. I'm a true heart Marylander. And people put that crap on everything now. It's on burgers. It's on fries. It's on chicken. No.
Okay. So we're starting our early Thanksgiving fight here.
Food porn.
Food porn. No food porn at all. But no, I believe, and I just feel for the Native Americans who got decimated by the Europeans, not only through war,
especially
murder, but also through all the diseases that came over from Europe. That
they would eventually build up their own immunities to those, and rather quickly.
Still, too many people died, though. They said I just read it. 95% of the people of the indigenous
at least,
people died.
That's an accurate number, absolutely. But you also have to think about some other things that are also just as brutal, and that they don't get any credit for. The native, they call it the First Nations people, the first peoples here. They don't get credited for helping us out during the Revolutionary War, the War of 1812.
The Civil War, the French,
World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam. Name a war we've been in that they haven't helped us in. There's not a one, and they don't get any kind of credit. The same with the Japanese contingent of our army, the Japanese Americans, native born Americans who were Japanese genetics. They did a lot for us during the war, and they were the most highly decorated. The Japanese contingent of our World War II army were the most highly decorated battalion of the entire war.
Heidi says one too many died, and that's true, Heidi. And Sally says they want everyone drunk and watching football instead of thinking about what they're actually celebrating. And that is true.
So that's exactly right.
Exactly. But listen, everybody, I got like 2 minutes left and the show got to go off. And then comes Don't Whistle at Night with Dawn Yazzie. But I will tell you this, Tuesday night is going to be a happy Thanksgiving show, because this was too dark for me and for everybody. And drinking pumpkin spice. You're sick, dude, man. You're sick. But I love you, man. I love you. My brother from another mother. But so Tuesday night we're gonna have talk about Thanksgiving and all the good things about it. But what I want you to do, and we did this when I was in recovery, and they still do it to this day. I would like to have people talk about what are they grateful for now in their lives. We call it a gratitude meeting, but if you would like to tell everybody what you're grateful for. Sally says, I'm glad you did this show. That's nice. The Aboriginals were not drafted to war. They volunteered, and no one talks about that. True. I was thinking this was a 2-hour show, and Dawn and Darren came on at 8, man. Okay. No, dear, it's only a 1-hour show. But don't forget, this Tuesday night, we're going to have like a gratitude, happy Thanksgiving. It's going to be a happy Thanksgiving show. Okay.
And Jay, Sean's beer will be made out of mashed potatoes.
Yeah, and pumpkin spice.
Focus ways.
Hey, Jay, thank you again for popping in and helping me out here at short notice like this. I want to thank everybody for joining in the show and listening. I hope I didn't really spoil anybody's Thanksgiving coming up, but the truth had to be told. And that's why I'm here, to tell the truth. Thank you, Sherry. Thank you very much. Thank you for being here. So, children, if you can, please go to your children. No, go to your parents. Give them a hug and tell them that you love them. And parents, please go to your, did I say that? I don't know. I think I lost my, where the hell's my thing at? They took it off. My ending.
Yeah.
Oh my God, they took it off. How? Oh, I see it more. Boy, StreamYard really screwed this shit up, didn't they?
Yeah, they changed some things again. There's like new windows here on our side. These people out there don't see. It's very confusing.
Like, it is, man. I'm like really depressed here. I'm really a little upset here. But you know what? That's okay. I got to deal with it. But
did you want to have an outro? Is that what you got?
Yeah, I used to have one. You know that, but somehow someone took it off. But that's okay. Everybody listen.
Put your intro in there if you want.
Oh no, it's okay. Happy Thanksgiving. Thank you, Joni. So everybody, just if you find somebody who doesn't have children or a parent, give them a hug and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that note, I don't have my outro. So good night, everybody, and see you Tuesday night.